what the hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let this make you wrong? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I will not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went to this, is no helping hand. Now my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show them that they cannot hold me down. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is mine, so what did I choose? Look, I grind every day, I got something to prove. Move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move. This'll make you move.
Welcome into our final nighttime at noon of the regular season. Live from City National Arena, Ashali Vise joined by Hnidy, and kicking things off with a big hitter right off the bat, literally and figuratively. Keegan Colasar, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for saving me for last, I guess.
No, best for last. That's what, obviously.
Big intro.
There you go.
I've been trying to find what to compare this week to for you. Is it like the last week of school, the week before Christmas? Like you're clinched, but you don't know where things are going to fall. What's this week like for you?
It's obviously exciting. You think about last year where we were in this type of situation and didn't come on the right side. So for us to, come back hungrier and ready to go, it's huge for us. I was excited about everything that happened this year for us. We're 2 games away from making sure that we did everything we could to punch ourselves in the playoffs with the best possible route to get to the finals. So I'm excited. Everyone's excited. I guess you could say it's probably a mix-up of the adrenaline from Christmas and maybe New Year's. It's kind of you get the 2 in 1 there.
Is it easier for you guys not knowing where you're going to finish? Like there's still stuff to play for this time of year. If there wasn't, sometimes you just want to get through the games. Does it maybe make it a little easier here as you guys are still, trying to clinch the top, see who you're going to play, and makes these games more impactful?
Yeah, obviously with standings, that's a huge part of it, seeing where we could finish. But it's also you want to have your game at the perfect moments, right? So for us, it's fine-tuning all the defensive zones, face-offs, neutral zone, forechecking, back-checking, neutral zone forechecks. Every little detail that we need to have in our game come playoff time, we got to make sure it's correct. And then obviously, we have 2 important games the rest of the way here to finalize where we're going to seed in the standings. So that itself is motivation.
You talk about where you're going to seed in the standings. I hear you guys say you have to be careful wanting to pick your opponent from the hockey side of things because you just never know what's going to happen once people get in. But is there any part of you, Manitoba boy, that would like to start things off in Winnipeg?
That would be an expensive series for me. I'd have to buy a lot of tickets, right? So I don't know if I necessarily want to be shelling out that amount of money for all my friends and family. But you look at all the matchups possibly, and you always start tinkering around. You're like, okay, well, if we finish here, what are we looking at? Who are we looking at? How do we match up against them this year? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you play. It's about how you play. And you know what? To get to the finals, you got to beat the best teams, right? So there's no easy matchups in playoffs. Say in Winnipeg, they've been pretty far in the past couple of years, right? And they have a Vezina-winning goaltender that, Shane, in playoffs, if you run into a hot goalie who's feeling it, it's pretty tough, right?
It is.
Not to say other teams don't have good goaltending, but it's a big factor. You don't always think
would
about.
Have some fans, Matt. There's a lot of you, Howden, Stoney, Who else is there?
Whitey's from Brandon.
Yeah, Whitey's Brandon. So Manitoba connection. And did you know the last time they played Winnipeg in a playoff series, the clincher, the series-winning goal was scored by a Manitoban?
Yeah, Revo.
And it was his first as a Golden Knight, I
Tippett?
believe. Yeah,
Tippett.
Tip. There you go. So you never know if that can happen.
Yeah, you never know, right? Anything's possible.
You've talked about, and we talked about, you guys talked about details of this team and how you wanted to play. Bruce Cassidy trying to get you guys, he keeps saying, get your team game ready for playoffs. How important is your line? That identity was sent early in how you guys wanted to play this year, and it's been different pieces, but it seems like everybody's been effective. Was that a message sent early on, kind of exactly what he wanted from that group?
Yeah, he said it right from the start. I mean, I remember we had a pretty tough game against Colorado, I believe, and he called us out, and we had a bad game. It's preseason, we got to get our legs under us. That's the whole point of preseason, right? To get your game where it needs to be. So a little bit of a slap there, and then it got us back to where we needed to be, and we've taken great pride in it all season long. Just with face-off pressure, accountability on those. Every shift for us, we're going to start usually in the defensive zone to get the puck out. So you have to take pride in that and make sure you're bearing down on whatever it is you might need be asked of. And then, we've had pieces coming in and out. Paul's played all throughout the lineup. He's done a great job of wherever he's been. Will Carrier, Teddy, Howds, myself. So whoever comes in, they know what they're bringing. It's a good mix too. We have the size, the skill to compete, the hockey knowledge, and, it wears down on teams,
Does it help to have the responsibility too? The coach is giving you, defensives like matchups. You're the other team's top line, everything.
Yeah, it's huge. We know that if we're keeping the puck out of our net, playing against our top guys are going to get a better matchup against, one of their bottom lines. So that in itself, it's humbling too, because it makes you realize, how important you are to this, and it makes you appreciate, what we do, because if we're going to do our part to take the puck out of the net and play against, the Kopitars, McDavids, all these guys, our teammates look at that and they're like, these guys are giving it their all to shut them down. We got to do our part and score.
We talk about the energy the team gets from your line. What kind of energy does the group get out of seeing Mark Stone out there today, albeit in a non-contact jersey? Oh,
it's exciting. You see him around in the gym, but it's not like being on the ice with someone. You don't hear the hooting and the hollering. We had a meeting this morning, and then Butch told us, we get Mark Stone back in a baby blue jersey, and we all just started losing it. So it's awesome. He's got a smile on his face the entire skate. He's pumped to be back, and it's been a long journey for him. I mean, we all hate being injured. You hated being injured, I'm sure, Shane.
Yeah.
You know that feeling when you finally get back on the ice and you're back with the boys. It feels like, you climbed the biggest mountain ever.
Well, yeah, you're always kind of on your own. That's the thing. So for Stone today to come out, you can see, you mentioned the smile on his face, just being back with the guys. That's the excitement for him. Still got some steps he's got to get through, but this is probably from a mental state the best step you can take as a player when you come back from injury and you get put back with the guys on the ice. That's when everything starts to feel good, and it's a good day for him. Regardless, we know there's lots of still time and things for him to overcome, and injuries have been a big part of this team. You've seen it now for 2 years. Last year, do you think you guys learned from last year with it, then go through it again this season, that you're able to handle it more, and how important depth, scoring, depth play you've gotten from whoever is coming in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to learn from injuries because, the only thing you could do is not get injured. Yeah. But for us, I think we learned that even when we're hurt, we're banged up, there's no excuse. 2 points are huge. And there was a long stretch there, where we could have found ourselves in the basement like last year. But everyone pulled up their socks and we got to work even more. And we all gave, say you're going to 100%. Well, you got to give 10 more percent. You got to give that little bit extra that you think you're giving it the most. You got to give more. And that's how we found ourselves, to not be in that same position as last year.
Have you ever had this many goalies on your team in 1 year?
No, it's pretty nice though.
Yeah, a lot of goalies out, and more seem to be coming back. So it's
Four today.
For today.
Well, hey, that's good. That's getting
good
help. That's lots of.
right?
And speaking on that has created competition internally for your group this season. Do you think that strengthens the club?
Yeah, competition's great. You mean look at Ammo and Hnidy last year, right? Yeah. Ammo, we got off waivers. Hnidy, we signed a couple games into the season. They made the most of their opportunity. They re-signed, and now that creates competition in the lineup, and it makes everyone work a little bit harder too. So it's awesome to see guys come back from the injuries and create competition on the ice. It makes us all work harder.
Along those same lines, it's Fan Appreciation Week, and after tomorrow's game, being the last home game of the regular season, they'll announce the 7th Player Award, which they'll give to the player who fans voted as the player who went above and beyond what was expected of them this season. I'm curious your take, without you even knowing the nominees. Like, who would you say best fits that description from this team?
Obviously, Logan. He was huge. Obviously, he had a great season to go to the All-Star game, right? It's unfortunate with the injuries that he's had. He couldn't keep riding that wave. It would have been exciting to see how far he could have gone and maybe, who knows, be right in the contention with the Calder as he was when he was playing. Will Carrier, I mean, that guy was harder than burnt toast, right, for a long time there. You like that one?
Your favorite, yes. Always good for the analogy.
I loved Amo's game all year. You know, Amo is a unique player. You give him the opportunity to play in an offensive role, and he's going to make good of it. And, you know, sometimes, you know, he's in a lot of the lineup, but when he comes in, he's going to make the most of it. And I've loved watching him all season, and I think he's got more to give too.
That's what I love about this team. You just mentioned a few names, and there's so many guys that could, because you've had players step up. When you mentioned Ben Hutton earlier, what he's done, he's got 6 points, 7 games since coming back. You know, you lose a guy like Shea Theodore as an offensive guy. Hutton comes in, he plays his game, but still provides. It's been great. You know, obviously he's a former defenseman who's in a similar position. I love to see guys like that. It's a long stretch. He's healthy, practicing, staying ready, and then he comes in, and the guys just love seeing someone do that.
You always root for a guy like that, you know, who comes in every day, works hard, goes in, goes out, doesn't pout. You know, he's always got a smile on his face, always joking around with the boys, even after not playing, you know, so many games and going through the grind of bag skates, workouts, all this, you know that. For him to come in and not only play but have success makes us all happy. Makes me beyond happy.
So I wanted to ask you. You guys seem like you're very close knit. Marshy said you guys kind of have that chemistry back from what he had year one. I know it was a while ago, but what's is it the joking in there? Are there a lot of chirping? Who are you closest with? Who's the most vocal? Is it always Marshy? Is there someone else? Does Phil come in and give competition?
Marshy's definitely number one vocal. I probably talk more than I probably should for being a young guy. But that's just the type of team we have. It's an open locker room. Anyone's comfortable to say anything at any point. Maybe, you know, 5 or 10 years ago, maybe I would have been more of a church mouse, but the guy's been awesome. I got into a great group of guys that opened me up my first year, and I got to know them also very well, and it's made me feel beyond comfortable, and I think that's what everyone wants to make everyone feel like with the new guys that come in, guys who come up from Henderson that are, you know, kind of already scared of being in the NHL for the first time. Make it easy for them, make them feel comfortable, makes it go a long way for them.
Is there a low-key chirper that might surprise us?
Will Carrier, yeah, he's up there. Well, he gives you one. You can poke Will once, but then if you do it a second time, then he's gonna like kill you probably.
Yeah, there's always those guys that they take it that
he
extra level.
He can take it, but if you get one more on him than he likes, then it's over for you.
Who runs the music?
Shay.
Does everybody have a playlist?
Everyone's got unique music for sure.
Who's the worst?
The worst music? Well, that'd be like bias of me because I don't really love country, so I'd say like
all I do. So
I'd say like Nick Hague probably. Yeah. It's all Morgan Wallen. That's all it is.
Throw some Zach Bryan in there too, though, don't they? Sometimes.
The odd time. I'd say if we're gonna talk the worst of the worst, probably Carl. He's bad.
Anybody have 80s music in theirs?
I got some 80s music in mine. Marty's got a really good one too. A lot of old school. Not saying he's old, but he likes the older music.
I've always wondered. I've always been fast. I used to run music one time, and it's a dangerous job.
It's pressure.
Job.
It's pressure.
It's a high pressure job. So Theo's the man, but if he's got other people's playlists, then he can kind of pawn off the blame.
We usually just put on those like big booty mixes.
Two friends.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
They're pretty good.
It's easy.
It's like the new age jock jams.
They do the
for
work
adults.
for you too.
Jock jams.
It's jock jams for adults. Yeah, it's pretty much that.
You used the phrase "worst of the worst" just now. I want to go into the playoff beer discussion while we can. I'll ask you best and worst, but first, like, what are the parameters here? Like, were you allowed to trim and cut since you've clinched? Like, when do the rules start where you can't
Honestly,
shave?
I've never been one to really believe in, like, if you shave, it's like a kind of thing.
So you'll be grooming yourself throughout, facial hair throughout playoffs, and
I'm going for a fade this afternoon, so I'll keep it tight up top. I'll let my facial hair grow out. It is what it is. Don't Do I think it's going to be? I don't think anyone on the team is going to be like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Okay.
'Cause
Okay.
I've seen other guys, they shave the scruff on the side because they can't grow it all the way, and they leave the goatee, stuff like that.
Well, who would have the worst? Let's say there was
I'm
a
trying
rule,
to think. Yeah, who?
and you couldn't
The
touch it.
worst-
Who would end up with the worst playoff beard?
The worst playoff beard would probably be Pavel Dorfeev.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like peach fuzz like
Let's
on the
see.
side there.
Howden, does he grow facial?
Yeah, he's got a goatee. It's
Goatee.
nice.
We should go tell Brent
I'm
Howden
thinking,
though
you
that
know,
Shane
yeah, it's
assumed
probably the
he would
only.
be
Like,
the
I got
worst.
Zach Whitecloud.
Zach
Bad
Whitecloud,
one.
yeah.
Bad one.
Like Petro, Phil.
Petro's gonna have a great one. Phil for sure, nice one. Marchie's gets up there. Carl undercover, but it's
Yeah.
just like
All right.
you can't unless you up close because it's all blonde. You
Yes.
you see it from
That's
afar,
nice.
and you're
That's
like,
nice Viking beard.
yeah.
Well, we can't let you go without addressing belated birthday.
Yes.
Is that over the weekend? Is that right?
It was on the 8th, yeah, against Dallas.
How was that? Any celebrating go on? Anyone do anything? Great teammates step up for you?
Howd's got me an assist.
Nice.
So there you
Right.
go. That's
What
a
an
nice
That was a
answer.
birthday
I
great
like
play in
that.
the
A nice
neutral zone. I
apple
like
for
that.
your
There you
birthday.
go.
Everyone likes that.
I went for dinner with some of the guys. It was nice to just go out and just be around them, not be at home by myself on my birthday. So that meant a lot to me for them to come out.
Perfect.
Well, happy belated birthday,
Happy birthday.
Keegan.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time. We did indeed save the best for last with Keegan Colasar on the final night time at noon of the regular season. Keegan's going to go get to this beautiful afternoon, and we'll be right back.
Head to the sky, feet to the ground. I give a what a hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let making you grow? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I will not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went the distance, no help in hand. Now my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up, not thinking, not hoping there. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is mine, so what did I choose? Look, I grind every day, I got something to prove. I break through the walls, I break through the chains. I'm moving along, but it's calling my name. Did I inherit this pain? Keep pulling me close every time I'm restrained. I did not come in no games. I give a what the rule is. I feel like I'm going insane. I feel like I'm about to lose it. I'm on the move like a runaway. No turning back, I pick up the pace. I do not care what the others say. Listen, I told you that I did not come to play. We about to take it to higher heights. History's waiting when I arrive. Today is the dawn of a new, and I'm about to show them that they cannot put me down. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so
Welcome back to Nighttime at Noon from City National Arena. Ashali Vise and Shane Hnidy here to talk about the final week of the regular season for the Golden Knights. But first, if you're needing a place to watch all of these upcoming games, the Craggy Range at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson is the perfect place to enjoy a pregame or postgame meal. Come watch your Knights on one of the Craggy Range big TV screens or the huge outdoor LED screen. Enjoy your favorite craft beer, wine, bourbon, or all kinds of cocktails while you catch the action. You can find a menu for the whole family, plus a full bar with 16 beer taps. The Craggy Range Sports Bar and Grill is open daily, no ticket required. Once again, welcome inside City National Arena here at Studio 31. Shane, it was great to have Keegan Colasar join us right off the bat, but we have a lot of news that came out of skate today. Wrapped up just about 30 minutes ago, and Bruce Cassidy just met with the media. For starters, Bruce Cassidy shared that Jack Eichel will not play tomorrow. He was not on the ice for skate. Shea Theodore is skating, was not with the team, but is skating, not expected to play tomorrow still. Zach Whitecloud, who we saw injured in that game against Dallas on Saturday, won't play tomorrow, but Bruce doesn't think it's long-term. We'll get to that
news.
Because that is huge.
Considering what you saw visually from that
Exactly.
injury.
Man, and one last thing, today was a maintenance day for Alex Pietrangelo. He was not out there, but does not sound like reason to be concerned. Okay, so I guess let's start with Zach Whitecloud. It did look bad in the moment.
Oh, it really did. Especially it was similar to his early injury he had this year where I believe it was Taylor Hall fell across. It was his other leg. So you never like to see that. It's one of those plays. You just can't help it. It's in the moment, a battle in the corner. Unfortunate. So really good news that hopefully not long term. And, give him his time to get back and rest up and be healthy. He was playing so well. And we've talked constantly since the All-Star break, the biggest turnaround for this team. And that was Zach Whitecloud's. He was the one who kind of completed their top six being back. I believe Theodore came back 2 games before the All-Star break. Then right after that first game, they were back to their original 6, and those D really kind of the backbone of this team that allowed them to make this incredible run that's put them in great position.
And now Zach Whitecloud's still not in for the time being. Shea Theodore, it's great news to hear that he is skating, but still not in for the time being. What did you see when all 6 of them were together? Why does that decor make such a difference?
It's experience. I think it's chemistry. McNabb and Theodore played together so long. Whitecloud and Haig have played together going back to their days in the American Hockey League. So, when you have those communication and a couple of veteran players like Martinez and Pietrangelo who are so, just calm and poised and have been through every situation. So they have the ability, if there's a mistake made, they bounce right back. And I think just as a group, it allows matchups to be easier. You can trust any pair against any line. You've got offensive guys. So that said, though, guys like Ben Hutton have come in, Braden Pahal, who earlier in the year, Creighton Korzak, they've been able to come in and play really well and give good games. But overall, ideally you want to be healthy, but in playoffs, injuries happen as well, and you need to have that depth. And I think one thing that you learn when you go through the type of injuries like the Golden Knights have the last 2 years is you learn about your depth as an organization. You have guys step up, and up front we've seen Pavel Dorofeev exactly what you want to see from a young player. So maybe that's kind of creating the way for these other guys to continue to raise their games as they get opportunity.
Now Ben Hutton is an experienced NHL player.
Yes.
But what has been different this time around, this call-up? What's been different? Not call-up, sorry. Factoring into the lineup, what's been different?
So when I watch Ben Hutton, and I know John Stevens told us, we spoke with him, he said when he moves his feet. And if you watch Ben Hutton, when he gets the puck, he doesn't stand still. He moves his feet to allow a breakout. He's poised. So one of the things is, having been a former player who's been in that situation where you're out and you're constantly working, you're in terrific condition. And, credit to the people, the staff that's kind of kept him ready with certain drills. He just looks confident, but right now he looks quick on the ice when he moves. He's patient with the puck. He's making plays, and he's playing with confidence. And, that comes, I think, initially him having success, getting a goal, getting assists. Now he feels part of it. So the thing when you come back in the lineup is you want to feel you're a part of it right away, of the success. And he's been able to do that. And I just think he looks in great shape. I like the way he moves his feet. He doesn't stand still. He defends well. That's number one for him. But he showed the confidence to get up in the play and make things happen offensively. So it's been a real good stretch for him. And a lot of that goes to him being a veteran guy. This isn't a young player who, it can be more of a mental challenge to be those stretch of games and then come back in. He's credit to him. Hats off the way he's been able to handle it, not only being out, but when he comes in to just plug himself in and be an impactful player.
You talk about having been in that situation yourself. How impressive is it, his attitude?
Great. And that's the hardest thing, right? To stay up every day. And Keegan Colsar talked about it. I think one of the things we've seen this year from this group is they're really close. And I think everybody's feels welcome. He said, guys come up from Henderson, whatever it is. So that's so important in a room if you want to be a good team, is to have that chemistry throughout, to make everybody feel a part of whatever your role is. That role adds up to the success of the team. And, I think it's important to be able to understand that and to make sure guys who are in that situation are aware of it, how much they're appreciated. And
we touched on this with Keegan as well, but now to get your take on the fact that Mark Stone joined the team.
It's just a lift, right? You're seeing your captain back, one of your top players back on the ice. So they're, I use Bruce Cassidy's word. I find I'm using it more and more because he does. There's juice. You get a little juice to see your captain back on the ice with the guys. He's still, you're not sure of the timeline, but just knowing that that's a step closer when he's starting to come back out in the ice, even though a different jersey. The next one will be when he gets into a regular contact jersey and starts going in regular drills. But it's a huge lift. There's a look at the baby
there
blue.
He is.
But, the players will be excited. He mentioned it was kind of announced. Bruce Cassidy saying Stone rejoining the team for practice. So I think anytime you can add some excitement and energy to a practice, that would certainly do it.
You've seen this group pre and post Mark Stone. What can you say about the impact that he brings on and off the ice?
Passion. I think just leadership. And, the big question mark is how long is it going to take Mark Stone to get up to speed. And a lot of guys, it's conditioning. It's getting, your foot speed and all that back. The one advantage a guy like Mark Stone has, he's an elite thinker on the ice. One of the, certainly in my opinion, in the top 5 in the NHL for hockey IQ. So that comes back quicker than anything. He can think the game. He's going to have to get reps, touches, whatever it is to get back up. But I think he's going to get back up to pace because he thinks the game so well. And, everything else can kind of take a little bit longer to catch up because positionally, the puck finds him. He goes to the right areas. He thinks the game quicker than people. So in a game that's all about speed, we're talking about, feet, skating, all that. He thinks it so quick that he puts himself in really good positions. And I don't think any of that's gone anywhere. That'll stay high. The rest of it will just be for him. Probably, getting the physical aspect of playing the game will be the biggest hurdle for him.
We're going to keep going down this path of all this practice news because it was a juicy one. All 4 goalies on the ice, Jonathan Quick, Lauren Brossoit, Logan Thompson, and Aiden Hill. Seems crazy that a week before playoffs, you're in this. The girl carousel has been crazy all season, but you wouldn't have pegged that.
No, you certainly wouldn't have. And who's gonna, how long? Certainly you're gonna have a couple of guys that are gonna need a little more time, their first practice to get in. Brossoit's been great. I thought Quick played fantastic in Dallas. So it's options. We were talking with King about internal competition, and it's a matter of now they've only got 2 games left. Mm-hmm. So who gets healthy enough? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But I would imagine it'd probably be Brossoit tomorrow. That's what I would think. But then that last game of the year in Seattle, do you try and is someone going to be healthy enough to get them at least a 1-game rep in? Because after that, it's hard to just plug into, a playoff situation, or maybe it isn't. I don't know. That's why the coaching staff, Sean Burke, the goaltender coach, Bruce Cassidy, I'm sure they'll all, along with the rest of the coaching staff, will kind of analyze. There'll be some important practices. And then how do you run practices with that many goalies? Because they're competitive guys.
Oh, yeah.
They want the net, not only in games, they want the net in practice. They don't want to share.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I should say, again, only 2 regular season games left. There's no telling who gets in, who gets out, how healthy everyone truly is. But Aiden Hill did go to Henderson on a conditioning stint over the weekend, played 2 periods. That was the plan. He was never supposed to play all 3 periods. But good for him to at least get the work in. Hopefully a good sign of his health and where he's at.
Exactly. It's for him just to get back in the game, because we talk about all the time. You can't replicate game situations, and I can't speak to what it's like for a goalie, but I would assume you want to play in a game. Practice is great, and you do all the drills, your angles, and you work on your rebounds and different scenarios, but that's not game, being in an actual game. So We'll see. It's been a talk. We've talked about goalies a lot around this organization for years.
And there's so many decisions, though, not just in goaltending, in the forward lines too. Like we've seen, as obviously as some people going in and out. If and when
that's a big if
the whole group is healthy, then you've got a lot of decisions to make.
Well, I think the problem is if
I say whole group.
If
Let's
you
talk
get
about
healthy,
yeah.
If I think it's a good problem to have.
Yep.
They're difficult decisions, but those are decisions the coaching staff wants. That's what you want to have. You want to have the ability to look through, and that's why we've seen a lot of different line combinations. I think Bruce Cassidy's kind of, quietly, he's liked a lot of it, and a lot of it is just for him to kind of look at these pieces, how they play together. So if and when they do get all healthy, how's he going to plan them there? And, who's going to play? Like mentioned Dorothy of the way he's played. Brett Howden's, his game. Paul Cotter's going to get opportunity. These guys are, these are opportunities. These are additions to show the coaching staff where you can fit, what you can do, because you're going to need depth when you get to playoffs. If you want to make a deep run, you've got to have a lot of guys the ability to step in.
You mentioned his name. What differences have you seen in Brett Howden's game this last, month?
I think he's a guy that he needs to utilize his speed. He's fast, and I think he's got a little more edge this year to his game. And part of that is, I think, that fourth line of whoever's been on it, and he's been a big part of it, is this is your identity. You have to play a straight line game. I think he's always understood the defensive side, but I think he's become a real good forechecker. I think he's become harder on pucks. He uses his speed. I think there's an offense element to his game. He's still trying to bring out. We saw the goal against Dallas was a high-end play, taking it skate to stick at full speed, and then a great shot to finish it off. So I think those are plays, that build confidence for a player like him offensively. But I just think his work ethic, he's, when you're in that position, that line, you've got to bring the energy each and every shift, without drop off. And I think he's been able to do that. And then when you can add plays like that one, that beautiful goal he scored off the feed from birthday boy Keegan Colasar on that day, it's a great play. And this is what I'm talking about. To be able to take that skate to stay, he makes it look easy, but that's tough to do at that level of speed. So I think it's been another step. He's still, to me, a young guy, figuring out his game, figuring out, his role. And I think this year he certainly has. You
talk about needing four lines in the postseason, but how do you feel like that fourth line's game is made for playoff hockey? Like
Absolutely. I think what I like about it, and we're saying is, and I think Keegan said it best, he says they understand if they can match up against the other team's top lines, it allows better matchups for their players. So, I think the fact that they take pride in what their role is for the team and they understand it, that's what the regular season's about. Is not, you're trying to win games, but, within the game, the coaching staff is trying to define roles for players that they can go out and execute that they feel is going to help the overall team. And I think that's been a strength of this team, is that fourth line, the way they've been able to play. When Nick Waugh's on that line, that's a big centerman. Teddy Bluger's done a nice job. Brett Howden last game was at center. So they have lots of options. I think it's great when you have that many options, but none of them have deviated from the style of play or the identity that line is expected to play at, which I think is great. It's pretty straightforward on how they need to play, how they need to be responsible defensively, probably more so than the offensive guys. They can get away with a few more mistakes. When you're on that type of line, you've got to be pretty darn sure you're out there and you're winning your wall battles, your puck battles, you're making sure you get pucks out, get it in. You're not trying to create as much. You're not going to see those guys do a lot of backhand sauce through the middle passes. They're going to play straight line. They're going to chip. They're going to try and wear down. And you mentioned playoffs. You want to wear down the other team. It's a 7-game series, so if you got a physical forecheck, you grind them. That adds up game after game.
All right, well, Shane, we are going to talk more about what we saw from the team last week, more about what lies ahead when we come back. But first, with summer coming up, I want to tell you about the spectacular Hotel Californian in Santa Barbara, California. It's a crown jewel in the Foley Entertainment Group, located right by the ocean. Experience oceanside views in one of 121 luxury guest rooms and suites. Taste the region's finest wine at the Society, State, and Mason tasting room, and treat yourself to an unparalleled massage at Majorelle, all in the heart of the American Riviera. Designed for domestic and international guests alike, Hotel Californian is the perfect destination for any traveler seeking a one-of-a-kind luxury experience. Visit hotelcalifornian.com today and book your next stay. You can do it over this break because we'll be right back.
I give a what a hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let that make of you roll? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I will not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went the distance, no helping hand. Now my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up now. They cannot hold me there. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose. When you a winner, you learn from your losses.
Welcome back to Nighttime at Noon, the final show of the regular season here from Studio 31 at City National Arena. Shane, hopefully we're going to be hearing from Bruce Cassidy here soon, see everything that he had to say with the media, but want to hit a couple things around the National Hockey League.
Yes.
Boston Bruins make NHL history with the most wins in a season with 63. What have you seen out of them?
It really is incredible what they've done. It's a grind. It's hard to win in this league, and the way they've been able to do it with that consistency and set a record, like, you know, the NHL's been around a long time. 63 wins is just incredible, and they could go higher. Right now, if I was them, I'm resting everybody I can. There's no one even close. They've got the President's Trophy. The flip side of that is, and I've always said, you work so hard to get in playoffs, to get seeding it. After this weekend, those 63, whatever it is, 64 wins don't matter at all. And you don't have to look too far in the past than to, you know, what the Tampa Bay Lightning did.
Yep.
Was it 3-4 years ago, and then lost 4 straight in round 1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, yeah, it's an incredible achievement by the Bruins. What a season. What a regular season. But it's funny how incredible it was. It all gets washed away here fairly soon.
Do you remember their first home loss this season and how long it took?
It was that the Golden Knights?
It was the Vegas Golden Knights
Yeah.
and Bruce Cassidy's return in Boston.
Up
November,
3-0.
December, it was late.
Yes, up 3-0, and then they tied it, but able to win. It was I remember that because nobody thought they could beat the Bruins at that point, and nobody really has this year. It's been an incredible season.
What is it like? Like you say, talk about how nothing. It doesn't matter if you don't perform in the playoffs. What is that like as a player? What is that pressure like? Do you think if you're a Boston Bruins player?
That's the other thing. There's pressure added now, right? The expectations for them to win the cup are look what you did in the regular season. There's no way they shouldn't be able to just bounce their way right to the final, but it's not that easy. So they carry the pressure. I think the pressure's heaviest in round 1. The first round is where there's the most pressure. Certainly, if you're a higher seed. Sometimes it can be easier if you're, the lower seed to come in and play. There's not as many expectations. You're probably hearing around the league, they're favored to win, so let's just go in. There's so much parity. I don't think there's an easy matchup anywhere when we get to playoffs. Bruins won't even know they play. Is it the Panthers, the Islanders, the Penguins? If they're playing a team like Pittsburgh Penguins, you're talking about a team that's won Stanley Cups, still has that pedigree of veteran players there that could just turn it on. So it's fascinating to me, some of these matchups. How many good teams are going to be out after the first? Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs. That's the one we know.
That'll be a series, eh?
There's just I love playoffs. It's the best time of year, and we're almost there.
It is. Bruce Cassidy agrees, and he met with the media just a little bit ago. Let's take a listen.
Good sign. You look good. This is his next, I guess, phase of return to play, recovery, get integrated with the team. So, again, I don't know how long that has to be, but step one, we'll see how he responds to it tomorrow. And just good to have him around.
Do you feel the boost having him out there and having just the fact that he could be close?
Well, I've always said once he's with the group, right, at least you have hope. When you're kind of on your own or not even skating, it's tough. So, as I said, I don't know if we can expect to have him back, but the fact that he's no setbacks again, he's continuing on to the next phase is always, like I said, a good time. So, a good sign, and to be around the guys got to be good for him mentally as well. And I think the guys get a boost out of having your captain back, whether it's just having him in the room, participating in drills, whatever it is. It's always good.
Any updates on the other injuries, like Cloud?
Jack did not skate, so he won't play tomorrow. Theodore's back skating, but won't play tomorrow. Whitey won't play tomorrow either. Anybody else? No, it is a maintenance day for him. A lot of work in Dallas the other day. He's getting old, so.
Got all 4 goalies back, I guess. How do you kind of manage having?
Yeah, John went out early, quick. He went out and did some work on his own. I think that, with 4 goalies, you can't. We're getting LB ready for tomorrow. So Aiden and Logan split a net. They're, trying to get going here a little bit. Hilly got 2 periods under his belt. Henderson, so that was good. No setback for him. So that's, again, good news in that regard.
Any concern with White Cloud, long term?
I don't think he's long term. What I heard yesterday, but I think his appointment is this afternoon. So once our doctors look at him, I saw him this morning. He's he wasn't doing too bad, so I'm hoping it's very minimal. But it's certainly rule him out for tomorrow, and then we'll see on Thursday, and then when we start.
Got one kind of last home and home to close out the regular season. I guess what's the approach into this matchup with Seattle?
Well, we haven't seen him in a long time. Playing very good hockey. They're in Arizona tonight, so we'll get a look at least a pre-scout. Fast team that's generating scoring on a lot of their opportunities. Very opportunistic team, finishing well. Different guys in the lineup. They defend pretty well in terms of their analytics. And we got our hands full. They're a hard-working team. So we've got to be ready to go. But I think over the last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of good tests. Every night it seems like teams are ready to go. So just got to get in the right frame of mind in terms of the opposition, who I haven't seen in a long time. Then could get up to speed in a hurry.
Do you look at any different playing a team twice in a row at the end of the season when there's the potential you could play them
We could play them in the playoffs, so it'd be odd, right, to play them twice. You know, I don't know if that's ever happened and then go right into it, but could happen. I mean, I think there's a lot of possibilities still left for us. I think outside of Edmonton, and then a few of the central leaders. I mean, we could be anybody. So, again, I'm looking at more our own game. Let's get our game, getting our game in order, and then maybe Thursday, if it becomes more realistic, then we'd have to look at, okay, well, how can we use this game to game plan for game one? Is it just a vanilla game where you don't want to? I don't think in hockey you really tip your hand, though. You've played 82 times. Right. I think teams know what's coming. Of course, there's a power play setup or something that might change or some face-off plays, but I don't think there's a lot of surprises in stylistically or structure-wise, those things. It's probably just, I think most of the adjustments are made from game to game. Well, how did you get beat or how did you win? And the other team tries to offset that. And that becomes a bit of the chess match and maybe line matches.
Have you gone down the rabbit hole of all the different possibilities?
We talked about a bit the other day. We just ruled out teams, right? Like Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota. Looks like they're going to be 1, 2, 3. We'll be 1 or 2, so you can't. You know what I mean? We've just stroked some of them off the list. So for us, I think it's Nashville, Calgary. If we finish first, the Wild, we may get that side, Winnipeg. On our side, LA, Seattle. So there's still too many teams to kind of sort of start, sometimes you can start going to work. Like I think Toronto and Tampa started going to work on each other in February, so they have that advantage. On the other side, you don't have that. So it would be nice to have a bit of a heads up just for preparation work, behind the scenes stuff you do, but at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of years that end up like this where you just, you get who you get at the last minute and make sure you're ready.
If you were told 6 years ago that teams in Vegas and Seattle would be in the playoffs,
6 years ago, yeah, that's interesting. You're right. Yeah, I wouldn't have believed it, to be honest. Like, I read Eddie Olczyk's comments. He doesn't think anybody will ever repeat what Vegas did going to the final in their first year, and that expectations last year for Seattle were probably sky high because of Vegas. So now they're there already in year 2. I think it's good for expansion owners, right? They want to get into the game. They don't have to wait that long. I guess if the rules were to stay the same, I think the way they've been able to construct their teams is a big advantage maybe compared to whatever, Nashville back in San Jose, though, you know what I mean? You're getting some real legitimate NHL players, and, with the protection rules, I think it's really helped to accelerate that process.
Shane, what do you think has been different for Seattle in season number 2 than season number 1?
Yeah, it's interesting because a different approach through the expansion draft than Vegas did, but I think they tried to go. They had cap space and had money to initially do it, and then came this year. I credit to them. You get a group of players. Just shows how many good NHL players are out there, or guys giving opportunity, making the most of it. They've just been able to click this year, in year number 2, and it's been impressive for the Seattle fans to see it. Expectations probably are unrealistic in year 1 because of what Vegas did and the success that was here, which is unrealistic to ask of an expansion team. I still shake my head. It was an incredible year. Year 1 here, but we've moved past it, and now it's year 6, and the Golden Knights they're a team that's expected to win every year. And now Seattle's going to have to take that on as they continue, because they took such huge strides this year. But great for the league. It's hard to get to playoffs, and when that's the goal every team sets out at the beginning of the year, is get to playoffs. And then once you're there, it's a brand new season.
Even beyond year 1, though, to even make the playoffs 5 of the first 6 years in looking for the third division title, that's big.
That's big. It's incredible the success that's happened here, and it all got accelerated because of these group of players that came together in year 1 that they wanted to prove themselves, and they did. They just it was such a magical season. I like to reflect on it every now and then, just to take a walk down and still shake my head that, wow, that really happened. And next thing you know, you're in the Stanley Cup final. Didn't accomplish the goal that you wanted, but I've said it many times, whether this show or other shows, I think it's the only year, every year one team's the only happy team at the end of the year. I think that's the only year I've seen where Golden Knights, team that lost in the Stanley Cup, still overachieved because of what they were able to do in that first season. Most historic inaugural season in pro sport, in my opinion.
Well, I have a chance to make another run at it starting next week, transitioning from hockey to another sport for one moment. Attention Golden Knights fans, we need your help in welcoming AFC Bournemouth to the Foley Entertainment Group. Also known as the Cherries, AFC Bournemouth plays in the prestigious English Premier League, where they consistently take on some of the best football teams in the world. Show your support for the Cherries by catching their matches via stream on Peacock TV. Make sure to also visit the Arsenal here at City National Arena to pick up some Bournemouth merch, including jerseys, scarves, flags, mini soccer balls, and lapel pins. Darren Millard loves the scarves, by the way. To learn more and be part of the club's exciting new era, make sure to visit afcb.co.uk. Up the Cherries. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. And not only is playoff hockey back in Vegas, but football is also back as the Vegas Nighthawks return for their second season. Become part of the Nighthawks family and don't miss out on the action at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson. Full season memberships start at just $15 per ticket per game. For more information about tickets, venue, parking, and more, visit nighthawksfootball.com. And Shane, we are going to get right back into hockey because we are running out of time here at nighttime at noon. And big Connor McDavid news hits the 150-point mark, just the sixth player in NHL history to do so.
It's been an incredible season. You know, you're seeing one of the best players to play the game. Continues to get better each and every year. He's dangerous. He every time he has the puck, he's one of those people that brings people out of their seat because he's electrifying. 151 points. He leads in all categories, 64 goals, leads in assists. It's at 87. He was joined, though. We have 260, but you look around the league, it's been this year, 9 guys right now with 100-point seasons. Guys right on the cusp. Elias Pettersson, he's 1 point away. I think Erik Karlsson, Mitch Marner, 2 points. They could possibly get there. So, that number goes up to 12 right away. But it's just, David Pastrnak hit the 60-goal mark as the Bruins won their 63rd game. It's just been so many great storylines. The level, the talent, the skill of the game is as high as it's ever been, and we're seeing these great athletes, just incredible accomplishments. But that guy, Connor McDavid, is just as good and as talented as these players are. He's that far ahead. He's just an extreme talent.
And is it scarier that he hit that mark, or that of the 9 players who have hit the 100-point mark, 3 of them are members of the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, well, Leon Draisaitl and McDavid have been
Hopkins.
1-2 for a while. The surprise is here, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I think, is it his 12th year? Not many guys in their 12th season have a breakout year, but he has. And certainly, you look at the Oilers, they're so top-heavy. Their top 6 are just very, very skilled. You got Zach Hyman having a career year up there with as well. So, yeah, very dangerous offensive team if you can shut down their power play, which is, I think, on the cusp of setting an NHL record as well, how good it's been this season. Certainly whoever matches up with the Oilers, discipline will be one key factor if you want to have success.
And because you talk about him being around the game for quite some time when you were talking about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, congratulations to Phil Kessel, who is the Vegas Golden Knights nominee for the Bill Masterton Trophy for perseverance, sportsmanship, dedication to hockey. Man, has it been fun to watch him just keep on going as the Iron Man.
What's he at now? I've stopped it is an incredible stat. The games he has played, he set the all-time, straight games played, the Ironman streak, then it just continued 1,000, and then he just, and what I like about him is, he's a veteran guy. He's elevated his game here down the stretch. He understands. He's won a couple of Stanley Cups, knows what it takes. I just think he's the type of player that continues to grow. Oh, I can't see that far. What is that? 1,280.
280. No, that's his NHL
that's
career.
All overall,
that's his NHL career.
I think it's this is where Dave Gosher. That's why I need him
This is where
to
Darren comes in.
Yeah. You got Darren, I got Dave. They know the exact numbers, but it's high, and it's a record that I just don't see it being broken, that Ironman streak.
So the team appreciates him and everything he's done. The team also appreciates their fans. It's Fan Appreciation Week, Shane. It's been going on. There was a very fun watch party at Lifeguard Arena over the weekend. Tomorrow is Fan Appreciation Night, so the players will be doing their jersey off their backs things. We'll see who won the 7th Player of the Year.
That's we'll exciting. See all those, see the awards, and hopefully it's a lot better to celebrate the jersey off the back and everything with a win. So hopefully that's the first thing that needs to happen. Then everything else will just make it more joyous.
Also, we know we are saying unite the realm. That is our slogan going into playoffs. Want everyone to come together, and because of that, there is Fuel the Realm on Friday in the Sky Canyon area. Smith's, one of the Smith's gas stations up in Sky Canyon. People can go and get free gas. That is such an underrated, low-key cool thing the team's doing for Fan Appreciation Week.
It's fantastic. We'll have to make sure Dave Gosher isn't allowed because he'll try.
On that note, I think we'll wrap up. Dave might be upset if he hears Shane say that. So we'll let Shane go apologize to Dave. We'll see you tomorrow as the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Seattle Kraken. Shane, myself, Dave Gosher, Darren Millard will be on AT&T Sportsnet. And, of course, you can also listen to Dan Duva and Gary Lawless right here on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us for the final nighttime at noon of the regular season.